The Seahawks enter the season with a lot of optimism and high hopes of not only reaching the playoffs, but making a deep run. We had a chance this summer to sit down with head coach Pete Carroll and 5 of the Seahawks' top players to talk a whole lot of football and also hit some topics off the field. We'll start it off with Pro Bowl quarterback Geno Smith.
All right, Geno, after all the success you had last year, it'd be pretty easy for someone, maybe a younger quarterback, for it to go to his head and not control the ego a little bit. What's the key for you to staying so humble and grounded?
Yeah, just focusing on the process. Obviously the results of last year was, a successful season for myself. But the main thing was the process that I went through before that. The practices, the workouts, all the things that made it possible, for me to have a great season. And so just focusing on doing those things better and hoping that, it'll result in an even better season.
Those things keep you humble, things like that? Like, do you get reminders during the season, maybe from a relative or a friend, that, man, this is pretty cool?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, I'm so swamped with work and just, being really entrenched in, my job here. But there's people, my family and everyone else on the outside, they're always excited for me and they're always watching. And even at the games, man, they're just happy to see me, obviously doing great things. But for me, staying humble is pretty normal for me. That's just who I am. It's my natural demeanor. So I just focus on being myself and just working hard.
After the 49ers playoff loss last year, you came back here, you worked out for a couple of weeks, as if to extend the season and keep yourself in that frame of mind. Why was that so important to you?
Yeah, I'm big on foresight. I'm big on, obviously speaking things into existence and then seeing them through. And I just felt like, this upcoming season, I felt like, if we're going to make it to the Super Bowl, if we're going to be, playing all the way, then, I would be training, I would be working out. There won't be any days off. I won't be on vacation or anything like that. So I wanted to see the season through, although we didn't have any more games, and in hopes that, that'll prepare me for this season.
Talk about working out. I saw some workout videos for you. It's kind of unusual for you to post them, but
yeah.
That one was pretty impressive, man.
Yeah.
And I know some of your teammates are riding you a little bit, but why did you put that out there?
Actually, it was my trainer, Sharif. He's a really good trainer, and he's done so many great things for me and my body, just helping me get stronger and faster. And it was just a normal day. It was a normal day out there in the Florida sun. It was about 95 to 100 degrees out there, and as you can see, we're out there with our shirts off, just trying to bear the heat. But he posted it, and it was just a glimpse into what we do, but obviously not everything.
No, I think it's cool. I think it is some good insight. A lot of winning teams have kind of that family feel where you guys are really close and you play for each other. And how important is that concept for you, of family on a team?
Yeah, family is huge, just in my life in general. And so any team that I've been on, I've looked at, every single one of my coaches and teammates, and even the front office as a bit of a family member. And, we're all here working for the same thing, for a common goal. And so we're very much an extended family. And so I treat these guys as such, and hopefully they do the same.
They put out some stats on you, and you've had some impressive stats throughout last season, but one that jumps out recently was your ability to throw the deep ball, and I just want to read these stats. You completed 24 of 51 deep passes, 719 yards, 13 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions for a 116 passer rating. What's the key to being successful on the long ball?
Yeah, the key to success on the deep ball is repetition. A lot of repetition, being on the same page with your wideouts. Obviously, it starts with protection, right? You're going to throw a deeper pass, you're going to need more protection. So the guys up front really starting with the protection. Obviously, the repetition, like I said, and then trusting it, throwing it, being accurate, and then guys coming up with great catches.
The receivers have to be just an equal part of that, huh? They've got to run the right route and make sure that they create some separation, but there's so much involved in it. But
yeah, the deep pass is truly offensive totality. It takes everybody to get that done.
Did you know you were that efficient when it came to deep passes, like when you see that you were the best deep ball thrower last year?
I was aware. I'm always looking at areas to improve, and so you look at all your areas, the deep, the intermediate, the short, and you see where you're at and figure out ways to improve. And so I was already working on that in the offseason, getting better at my deep ball. And although we were pretty good last year, it's got to be better this year, and nothing from last year is going to translate. So we got to do everything over.
Okay, I'll take you a little bit off the field now. I love your family tree. You got a lot of athletics throughout the years in your family tree, but the one that jumped out to me was Cyril Eugene Smith, your great-grandfather, Mr. Bahamas, 1950, bodybuilder, went on to more acclaim as a boxing referee. Did you read up on him? in the past? Like, how much have you read up on his accomplishments?
I know all about it. I know all about it, and it's a part of why, I take pride in what I do. Because, my family back home, obviously in Florida, but also in the Bahamas, they're watching, and they all are watching. They all are big fans of the Seahawks. Everybody in South Florida is now a Seahawk fan. Everybody in the Bahamas are Seahawks fans. And, my granddad, great-granddad was amazing. My uncle, Danny Smith, was a gold medalist hurdler, in the Olympics. I think it was the '86 Olympics. And so our family tree is pretty stout, and so we want to keep that going.
Do you see parallels when you read up on some of these accomplished relatives, parallels in what you do?
Yeah, I believe it's a direct result in me being here. My uncle being a hurdler allowed me to, I think I'm, and it runs in our family, right? Long legs, sprinter body, bodybuilder. I'm not the biggest guy, but I'm pretty strong. So, a lot of that comes from Cyril himself. And so, all of those things have created who I am as a quarterback who's a dual threat.
Well, I mean, you look bulked up, man. You feel good. You get any comments from your friends saying, "Hey, man, which way to the beach?"
Yeah. Guys are, a couple guys are trying to give me stuff about it, but for the most part, obviously I do it so I can be strong. But guys do try to crack jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you took some hits last year, and you popped right up, especially in that 49ers game when you were already on the ground and took a shot right before halftime, and it was like, man, you popped right up. So that's got to help you.
Yeah, it does help me. Last year I was able to play every single snap. And that's a big focus of mine. Obviously I lost a lot of time, as a starter, and so I don't want to miss a snap. And so that's the reason I train the way that I do, so that I can play every single snap for my team and be available at every moment.
Yeah, I think of all your stats, I think that the durability last year was probably your most impressive stat, man. Play
agree.
Every snap. Wow.
Yeah, I would agree.
How about you have a second favorite sport other than football?
Yeah, I grew up initially, basketball was my first love. And, I grew up playing hoops, and then obviously, started playing football at the age of 11 or 12, and really fell in love with playing quarterback and being the leader of the team. And I kind of put basketball to the back burner, but I was a three-sporter: baseball, basketball, football.
I know you're all about mental health awareness. You're doing a nice job in the community in all these different areas, charitable foundations and things like that. You have Seven Sunday Heroes Foundation, also the Extended Hands in South Florida. Tell me about your involvement. How important is it for you to do those things and give back?
Giving back to me is huge. It's everything to me. I think being a part of a community is who we are as human beings. And prior to me entering into the NFL, my mother had the Extended Hands Foundation, and when I was in high school and when I was in junior high, we would always be out active in the community, giving back. Passing things out, passing out book bags, school supplies. My mother and grandmother would help less fortunate kids get school clothes, and so that's just a part of my makeup and my DNA. And when I got to the league, I started Seven Sunday Heroes, which is again for less fortunate individuals, and we're able to bring them out to games and their families and show them a good time on Sundays. To kind of take things away from what they're going through in their daily life, and then I'm able to connect with them, and we have a dinner at the end, have a gala and stuff, and everyone's all happy. So it's a real good thing.
I would imagine it's a great feeling to be able to do that, and it's great that you did that as a pro athlete, as all these kids look up to you. Just a couple more questions for you. The trademark for they wrote me off, I ain't right back though. Have you done anything with that? Like, I know you protected it, but where are we now after a year?
So I got the shirts made. The website is going up real shortly. So the Seven Sunday Heroes, is a big part of that. And most of the proceeds, if not all of the proceeds, will be going towards donations to help out less fortunate families and anybody in need, really. And so the I Ain't Right Back shirts will be up, and hopefully everyone goes and buys them up, and then I'll have to have a problem of restocking them. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's great. So that's all that. All the proceeds will go to more charity, which is tremendous. All right, one last question for you. Taking me back to your childhood, it's Christmas. Was there a bike or a toy back in the day that jumped out at you when you look back? I think we all have a favorite toy. Was there something back in the day?
Yeah, I remember one specific Christmas, it was the Razor scooters. When the Razor scooters came out, and it's nostalgic for me to have, we got a bunch of those in the VMAC. Guys, you see Pete riding through on a Razor scooter sometimes, but I remember when the Razor scooters hit, man, everyone had them, and we had at least 10 of us was just freaking scooting down the block, up and down the block. So I remember that.
That was the one of your favorites,
yeah,
huh?
That was one of my faves right there.
All right, Geno, thanks a lot, man. Best of luck this season.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Smith was named the NFL's most improved player last season, and he'll be the first to tell you he had a lot of help, especially from his receivers. DK Metcalf likes what the team did in the offseason, adding more weapons to what should be a dangerous offense.
All right, DK, let's just talk about this offense and some of the new guys out here. What's your take on this offense as you get into this new season?
Well, I think it's going to be a very exciting year, coming up. I think Pete and John did another phenomenal job during the draft. And then when I came up here, first day out in OTAs, and I just seen everybody smiling, running around, having fun. And I think this is just going to be the identity of this team, just going out there and just having fun and just playing ball again.
Do you notice that when new faces come in here and they hear the music going, they see this beautiful setup out here and the great culture it's created in here? Do you see it in their eyes that they're like, these guys aren't used to this?
Yes, sir. I mean, it was definitely in my eyes when I first came up here. My first time being away from home and just being out here right next to the water. All I see is trees, and you just hear nature out here. I'm pretty sure that's all what they're thinking, when they first step foot on the practice field.
How about you at 6'4", 240 pounds? You're one of the most intimidating receivers out there. You throw in your speed. Then all of a sudden, do you feel like defenders will try to challenge you early in the game?
They tried last year. But they still have to account for Ken Walker, Tyler Lockett, and now Jackson, and whatever other receivers make the team. So it's more than just me out there. Geno did a hell of a job last year, Lock as well, and just to add a few more pieces to the offense is going to be exciting.
But when they do challenge you, and you've had your struggles with keeping your emotions in check. Have you done anything? Is there any kind of mental training you've done? Maybe talk to your dad, anything like that, to keep yourself from being rattled at all?
I think that's just an outside perspective. I don't think I got emotional issues. It's just the
I'm
stigma.
not saying you got emotional issues.
I'm saying no.
I'm just saying, we all get a little hot,
right.
But you're out here in the fierce competition, and they love to try to get under your skin,
right.
and you know that after a few years.
Yeah.
What do you do to counter that?
Stay the mean person that I am, and still intimidate them, but do it in between the whistle and in between the lines.
It's cool to watch because most of those guys are undersized. They come at you kind of like biting at your ankles.
Right. Yes,
How about your relationship with Tyler Lockett? It seems like it's got nothing but tighter over the years.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about Locke. Just from the moment I've stepped in the building, he's done nothing but become a big brother to me. And just like you said, over the years, just gotten stronger. And nothing can shake us or nothing can break us, because I feel like when we're on the field together, we're in sync. Like nobody can stop us.
You've hired a videographer, and you're into social media. You do these things. You're kind of like that modern day athlete where you're out there. You got a guy shooting almost your every move in life. Was that obviously was your idea? Why would you go down that road?
I think just to have the memories along the way and just to capture everything along this journey, because you never know when you're going to need it or when you're going to try to look back on some stuff. I know he was with me a lot in 2020 and 2021, and we still pull up videos about the days we were talking about real life stuff or football or just anything in general. So I think it's just good to have those memories on tap for whenever you want to just revisit them.
And you're going to continue this throughout your NFL career?
Oh yes, sir, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So and you go back. Do you watch a lot of the raw video?
Oh yes, sir, all the time.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask them to send me a clip from a workout that we were doing, just to pull back more inspiration or just more motivation.
Okay, I saw where Geno put out a workout video and you guys kind of gave him a hard time.
Yeah, that wasn't a workout video. He was trolling for sure. Geno knew he wasn't doing that.
He said his trainer put it out. It wasn't his fault.
No, Geno definitely put that video out, and I believe you asked him to put it out.
All right, clearly you're like if someone had to look down the roster and look at you and see that you're clearly got the body of a bodybuilder sometimes. You're this specimen. If there was a guy who was second on that list, who would that be in there?
Bobby.
Bobby?
I would throw Bobby in there.
Yeah.
Bobby I think works out more than me.
You think so?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
for sure he does.
You're a big fan of his, though, huh? What does he
yeah.
bring that he's in his return?
A lot of leadership, and he's just a pro's pro. He's very professional about how he handles his business on and off the field. And you know, he's just always there for guidance or just, you know, for you know, motivation. And whenever you need just somebody to guide you through, you know, a lifetime decision. I know he's helped me through a lot of decisions in my career and in my life. So just happy to have him back.
Okay, with his work ethic, it kind of rubs off on you guys. You see he's in the weight room doing his thing. You're doing your thing. You've been ranked as in the top 20 as one of the most sexiest men in the NFL. I'm not sure if you're aware of it or not. I'm just letting you know that that's what my research shows. But they got you at 19. Should you be higher?
I mean, that's for everybody else to decide. Of course, I think I'm the sexiest man in the NFL.
But it's kind of cool, like, you know, because you know what? It's a credit to you and the work you put in.
Right, yes, sir.
I mean, come on. You know, you've gotten away from eating the Skittles and the candy. You know, how much have you changed your diet over the years now you're in the NFL?
I think after the Shannon Sharp interview, I decided to change my diet up a little bit. I'm not going to say I've completely shied away from candy, but, you know, I have a bag or two.
Yeah.
Once a week, I would say that.
Okay. Well, you know, you can't, cold turkey's hard.
Right.
So how about as far as your interests off the field? You talk about your interest in fashion and maybe learning how to act and things like that. But where does the fashion come from?
I think the fashion just comes from me just being inspired by other athletes, you know, wanting to do it. And, you know, just me wanting to get my feet wet in that area and in that realm that, you know, I'm unfamiliar with. So just taking on another challenge and another avenue that I think I could be successful in.
Have you taken acting classes?
Yes, sir. Going on 2 years now.
2 years of acting classes?
Yes, sir.
Off-season things? Is it all off-season?
No, during the season.
During the season?
Yeah.
Around here?
Yes, sir. Well, it's on Zoom.
On
my
Zoom.
acting coach was in Vancouver, Canada for a little bit, but she just moved back to LA. So it's kind of hard to meet in person right now.
Yeah, but that's a bold move. I mean, like you got to put yourself out there if you're doing
exactly,
that.
Yeah.
So how was that going?
I mean, it was difficult at first because, you know, I'm a guy that doesn't like to really show my emotions off the field.
As he laughs.
Off the field, but I think it was difficult. But you know, it's a learning curve that I'm steadily, you know, trying to get around. But you know, it's going to be very helpful for me, I think, after my football career is done.
Does she make you like cry on impact and things like? Does she?
No,
make
I can't do that. But I have to bring it. She gets it out of me. I'll say.
Okay,
that.
I was gonna say because I mean that's gotta be tough to work up tears on camera.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that good yet.
But in the future, this is something you want to do. You want to be in maybe TV shows, movies, things like
Correct,
that.
Yes, sir. Movies or TV shows.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Wherever I can get my hands on.
Okay, so if there's a genre out there in movies, comedy, horror, thriller, action, where do you see yourself maybe? Where would be your first choice?
This is probably going to be very surprising, but I would say action first. There's no surprise, but horror. I'm a big horror movie guy.
So if your first acting role is in a horror movie, you'll be all right.
Oh yeah, I can scream.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So you're ready to die in this horror movie.
No, not that. I can run fast enough.
All right, just a couple more for you. I know you're huge with the holidays. I know you're a big family guy. You love going home and being with the family around Christmas. Take me back to your childhood. Do you remember a toy or a bike or any kind of Christmas present that you got that stands out as one of your favorite all time?
I used to always ask for Nerf guns when I was a kid. For some reason, I had an obsession with Nerf guns. So every Christmas, I would ask my dad for, you know, a Nerf gun, and he got me this big bazooka one time that had 60 Nerf bullets in it, and it needed batteries, of course, but when I installed the batteries, I definitely had a time with that. So shout out to my dad for giving me the Nerf guns.
Was there talk of danger of the Nerf gun? Like, you're not old enough for a Nerf gun yet?
No, sir. I was always old enough.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Starting at 4 years old, I was always old enough.
I know which gun you're talking about.
Right, yes,
the
sir.
problem with that is you got to go pick them all up.
Exactly right. That was the only the cleanup was the hassle with that. Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you playing along, and best of luck this season.
I appreciate you.
When we asked Metcalf to name a few of his favorite highlights over the years, he quickly deferred, saying he'd rather name Tyler Lockett's best highlights. One thing about DK is a super humble guy, something he has in common with Lockett.
Tyler, let's start with the team concept. You seem to be pretty keen to the things that are said about your team and this team. Do you keep one ear to the ground and kind of track that, or do you try to block out the noise, or is it just a combination of things?
It's kind of in the middle. You also want to be able to hear what people are saying. You know, you listen to their predictions, because sometimes you get motivated just by kind of hearing some of the things that people say, but you also try to like quiet the noise, and you try to focus on your group and everything that you're trying to accomplish within.
When the Seahawks schedule came out and you see that you're playing back-to-back Thursdays, 3 games in 12 days, there's nothing you can do about that. But at that point in the season, how much of a challenge is it for a player?
Well, I think the biggest thing for us is, one, you just got to be able to figure it out. And two, we get that early bye week. I think it's week 5, but it's very important, especially with a young team that we have, that we got to be able to take care of our bodies, because we're not going to be beat up, the first couple weeks of the season, because everything works out for us with the bye weeks and stuff. But as you get closer and closer to the end of the season, then you go straight to playoffs, you got to be able to take care of your body, because it's going to be those games that are going to be super crucial. And so we want to make sure that we're taking care of business to where we're putting ourselves in a great situation, rather than, these games in these 12 days are must wins.
We've talked about you trying to avoid hits during game and playing smarter football as you get older and trying to stay healthy and available. But how much have you had to change things around?
Well, I haven't really changed a lot, but I think, if there's anything that I changed, it's just basically how I approach the season, how I'm able to get ready. Sometimes I run a lot, sometimes I get on a bike, but a lot of it is just being able to make sure that I'm positioning myself to be in shape, and being able to understand too that I don't have to do too much and I don't have to do too little. I'm kind of figuring out that middle ground of what's enough to be able to prepare me to go out there and still play at a high level.
But I want to take you back to your rookie season and the fact that you and Gale Sayers are the only 2 rookies to have and I know you know this, but the 5 touchdown receptions, 1 punt return for a touchdown, 1 kickoff return for a touchdown. Man, that's elite company.
Yeah.
Do you think about that, and to have that in your back pocket, how cool is that?
Well, I mean, when I just think about all the accolades, I think it's something that's really cool, but it won't be something that hits me until I end up retiring and finish playing. I can look back and see everything from college to the NFL, my rookie year, like you're saying. But as of right now, it's just always, every day is always on to the next thing. And so I try to teach myself to reflect a lot more, to be able to look back and see how far that I've come and still see what's ahead of me and what's to come. But, the biggest thing is just trying to be able to balance that time and manage it, because you don't want to miss what's ahead of you, but you don't want to miss appreciating something in front of you as well.
I would imagine that's pretty tough, because other players talk about that, kind of a stop and smell the roses thing where, this ride doesn't last forever, and you guys always seem to talk about camaraderie being the biggest thing you miss. So you're consciously trying to just gear down a little bit here and there.
Oh yeah, and I mean the biggest thing that you take out of this is the relationships. And if you just come here and it's just football, then I mean, you miss half of it, because everybody wants to win a Super Bowl. Everybody wants to come here and perform at a high level. Everybody wants to be able to make money. And when people are done playing, like you said, you hear a lot of the people that miss the relationships, they miss the conversations, they miss being around the players. But who says it has to stop even though football's over? You can still have those same things. It's just not in the football type of atmosphere anymore. So, for me, relationships are key to winning a Super Bowl, to being able to be a great team, to being able to achieve whatever it is that your mind wants you to achieve.
Okay, I take you back to those kickoff returns for touchdowns. You ran one back 103 yards against Denver in the preseason, that rookie season. Pete Carroll's running along the sidelines with you. He runs into a ref. Can you tell me what you remember about that play and maybe the meeting after, the post game after?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just remember even going into that game, I remember Jermaine said he had ran a kickoff back against Denver. Doug said he ran one back versus Denver, so they was like, hey, you have no choice but to run one back. And I was getting I was getting really good opportunities just to be able to do it. I just wasn't able to get out of it. And then when I finally got it, my dad was telling me after the play, he was like, as soon as you started running lateral, I was like, you can't do that in the NFL. And then he said, you beat the outside guy, and once you took off, he was like, wow, I can't believe this dude just scored like that. So, I mean, it was something that was cool. It was a great preseason that I had my rookie year, and that's something that I really do, appreciate.
Okay, so with your peripheral vision, did you see a collision when you were going down the sideline?
No, because, I mean, as I'm running, the kicker is the last person to beat, and that's the one person that you don't want to get tackled by, because that's you'll never hear the end of it.
All right, I want to ask you about the real estate and football. Are there any parallels with what you are accomplishing there and what you accomplished in football?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about being a captain, you got to be able to look out for the best interests of your team. You're kind of in that middle ground of, listening to the coaches and being able to relay that message to the players, and vice versa, being able to listen to the players and relaying that message to the coaches. And so for me, when I'm out there doing real estate, I'm helping the sellers, but I'm doing what's in their best interest. and you got to be able to kind of get a feel out. You got to be able to understand their mindset, what it is they're trying to accomplish. Some want the most dollars, some want to start low on price, hoping that it can be bid up. And so it kind of helps you learn how to manage relationships, how to deal with different groups of people. And I think it's pretty cool because then you come here and I got voted captain, and you learn how to meet people where they're at. You learn how to talk to people, and you got to be able to know how to bring people to the table, because for every person it's different.
When you look back, was there a moment in time where you said, I want to be a realtor?
Probably when I bought my first house. You know, I started watching HGTV a lot when I bought my first house, and then I just thought it'd be something that was fun. I just never did it, and then I finally decided to take the class, and once I passed, I was like, hey, let's just start on a second career now, rather than when I finished playing, because once you're done playing, everybody's questioning you, like, do you know what you're doing? Like, you're starting from the ground up. But if you're able to do it while you're still playing, there won't be any questions about do you know what you're doing, because you've already defied those odds while you're still playing at a high level in football.
Were people calling you? And
No, I put Keller Williams' number down, and they were getting phone calls.
were they getting extra phone calls because it was Tyler Lockett?
Yeah, people call them asking me to help sell their house, and they already have an agent and everything. They just want me to market it, and they're like,
Yeah.
no, unless he has the listing, he's not doing any of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've already went through all of that type of stuff. The only way people call me is if they're a realtor, because you have everybody's information like
Okay.
on a realtor site. So people will try to call my second phone, but it's my second phone. So I can leave it over here or whatever. I could be on my primary phone while my work phone is doing what it needs to do.
All right, thanks, Tyler, man. We appreciate your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Let's turn our attention now to the other side of the ball. Seahawks safety Quandre enters the new season finally at 100%. He was coming back from a broken leg and dislocated ankle at the start of last season, and it took him about half the season to finally feel comfortable and confident enough to do the things on the field that helped him earn a spot on the Pro Bowl roster.
Quandre, let's start with the camp and the mini camp and the offseason conditioning. Clint Hurtt said that you looked noticeably more mobile out here this time this year than compared to last year. Do you feel that? You're just a night and day?
Yeah, I definitely feel it. It feels great. You know, I've actually been able to do my normal off season and, you know, train, strength work, you know, cutting, all the things that I need to do to play the position that I play. So for me, it's been excellent. So I just want to continue to grow on that, continue to get better, and, you know, hopefully it pays off for a big year. You know, you can always put the work in and it doesn't work out the way you want to, but, you know, I'd rather put the work in and let it fall the way that it's supposed to.
When you come out here and you experience this now as 100% healthy again, does it just remind you of how thankful you are to be able to come out here and play this game?
Every day. You know, I never take it for granted. Whether it's a workout or anything, I feel I never take this for granted. You know, I see my guys like Jamal and Jordan, you know, on the sideline, and, you know, I've been there, and I tell them I've been there, you know what I mean? So just keep pushing and tell them everybody's race is different, and, you know, my race was different last year. At this time last year, I wasn't even able to cut. You know, it was still running straight ahead for me. So I think it's just all a blessing, and I'm thankful. I know my wife probably get tired of me saying that, but I'm thankful every day just to be able to go out to these workouts and enjoy it.
You're asked a lot about Bobby Wagner in the past. You went after him immediately on social media when he was available. You're like, let's go get this guy, kind of thing. You know, what does he bring? We know he brings leadership, but what's an intangible that we don't see as fans?
I think it's just the calmness, the cool demeanor, you know, the jokes, and, you know, the things that he does that just keeps everybody involved, keep everybody in line, and I think that's what's dope. But he has that quality of, you know, when he says something, you know, it's business. You know what I mean? And when he's serious, he's serious. When he's playing. But, you know, when we get in that huddle, he makes a call. You know, it's loud, it's clear, and, you know, it ain't none of that, you know, well, we didn't get the call. You definitely heard him say it, so you go do it.
Seems to be like there's an influx of talent on defense for sure, especially in the DBs. What's your impression of the new faces back there?
I mean, it's been cool, you know, whether that's, you know, that Spoon, whether that's Jay Love, whether that's Jay Reed. You know, we got some undrafted guys that's really showing out too. So I'm just excited to see everybody, and, you know, even, you know, Mike Jack and Artie and, you know, Kobe when he's out there. You know, we know what we have, and, you know, Reed could be back out there soon. So for us, you know, we just got to put the work in. We can't expect to be good. We got to put the work in to be great. So it's going to be fun. You know, it's going to be one of the most talented rooms I've ever been in.
It seems like a competitive group, and to hear you say it just kind of doubles down on that. But without Jamal back there, without Tariq back there at this time of year, and you guys get back together at training camp, does it hinder at all learning each other's, you know, the intricacies of what goes on between DBs? Does that set you guys back at all, or do you know enough that you've played together enough?
No, I think that's what these meetings and these mandatory camps are for. You know, K. Scott explained it yesterday. You know, if you have questions, get them out now. This is, you know, the first time we've had everybody in the building, and that's including me. You know, I've been at home. I've had a son, so for me, I haven't been here as much as, you know, people probably want me to, but at the end of the day, I have a family. So when we get these opportunities, we just take advantage of them. And, you know, there's no reason to make excuses. We got a whole training camp, a whole preseason, and, you know, we're going to always have some wrinkles that we got to figure out. But, I mean, it's not like this is the first time all of us will be able to be playing beside each other. You know, we've played beside each other plenty of years. So my thing for us is just, you know, with Reek and Mike Jack and, you know, Spoon is new to the mix, but, you know, Jay Love is new to the mix. But the majority of us, we've been here. So, you know, we know how we talk to each other. We know how to communicate it just by going and put it on the tape.
You're going into your 9th season, 5'9", 200 pounds. You managed to play most of your games throughout your career and not suffer too many injuries.
I mean, first of all, I just got to give thanks to God, first of all, because, you know, I've been blessed to, you know, to be able to be durable. You know, 50 games straight, that's one of the things that, you know, I've cherished. You know, I've cherished being able to start 50 games straight and play the last 3 seasons, you know, healthy and be able to go out there and compete for my teammates because, you know, my availability is my best ability. But for me, you know, it's always working, you know, the hamstrings and like the shoulders because it's a lot of hitting. You know, everybody loves to see me fly down and hit, but, you know, if I'm not able to work those shoulders and I'm not able to have that pop, then, you know, it doesn't mean anything.
I was just curious as a DB because you are, you know, if at 5'9", 200, you do throw your body around like a missile.
Right.
And you've hit some guys. And we talked about it last year. Your favorite hit at that point was Antonio Brown when you were with the Lions. I saw a hit also in the past where you laid out Mahomes when you played Texas Tech.
Right.
Do you remember a hit in college that stands out? Was that one?
That was definitely one, but I had a few in college. I got in trouble a little bit in college. This was before the ejections and stuff, but it was a couple borderline where they wanted to throw me out. You know, I just wanted to go out and just try to hit and make the big play as much as I could, and whether that was going to hit them, and, you know, we didn't have those type of rules where they throw you out of the game, so I wasn't ever scared to get thrown out of the game in college.
But now's the change. You've changed your game too.
I've had to change my game. I've been thrown out the game in the NFL, which is rare, so for me, I had to change up a little bit.
All right, one last question for you. We talk about you working out and keeping fit. You do a great job of that. Geno posted something about him working out the other day, and you kind of got at him on social media.
I mean, for Geno, it's funny because he told Pete today, he's like, look, talking about me and Bobby, he's like, look at the brothers. Why did y'all have to put them back together? This ain't going to be nothing but trouble. So all it is trouble. But that's just I think that's just how this team is. You know what I mean? Everybody from, you know, the DK to Lock to me, Bobby, Jamal. That's just what this team is. That's really one of our core things is we have fun being around each other. And it's so cool to be around each other, and we enjoy it.
Well, it's obvious, man. And families, you know, the closer the team, I would imagine, the more success you can have.
No question. And that's one of the things that we want to work on this year, just continue to be close. You know, go out and compete. Do all the things you need to do. But at the end of the day, we got to compete against each other and make each other better. But at the end of the day, we family.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks a lot for your time. We appreciate it.
Yep, no doubt. Thank you, guys.
Diggs will get some help in the secondary with the eventual return of fellow safety Jamal Adams. Although Pete Carroll says there is no timetable for Adams. He's working his way back from a torn quadriceps muscle. Bobby Wagner was the big addition in the offseason. The former Seahawks defensive captain played last season with the Rams. But now he's back in Seattle, and he's in the best shape of his life and as motivated as he's ever been.
Okay, Bobby, going into your 12th season, I think the most impressive stat for me is that you've only missed 9 games in that stretch. To what do you credit that kind of longevity and that kind of availability?
I would say yoga, the people I've been fortunate enough to work with to take care of my body, a good diet, and just a strong mind.
Yeah, good fortune too along the way?
Good fortune too. God has been good.
How about as far as DK says that outside of him being one of the big weightlifters in there and kind of, you know, he's kind of chiseled. I said, give me another guy who's chiseled in there, and he named you. Like, do you take
I
a lot of
appreciate
pride
it.
in keeping that body rock solid?
100%. I see DK, man. You know, he look like an action figure, so I figure I try to do my best.
When you look at some of the things that guys say they play with a chip on their shoulder, but you're a guy who really believes in it. And I see, you watch what people say about you. It seems like you take receipts. Where does that drive come from?
I mean, I don't know if it's just an extra motivation. I think there's a lot of self-motivation, with people, like not what people say, but just more so like proving myself right and proving the things that I believe about myself to be true. But you watch guys like Kobe and Jordan and all those guys, they find little things to motivate them. So whether it's doubt from the outside or whatever, like it doesn't play a part. You just use it as an extra motivation.
So do you kind of do that week in and week out, like through the season, maybe going into a game? Is it a regular practice for you to kind of find things?
Nah, it's not a regular thing. It just, sometimes moments just call for that.
And speaking of that, I read when the first time you went, that you met Pete Carroll when he came to your high school as a recruit. I just want to read, because you know this, but I just want to refresh your memory. You said, I remember him coming, and I remember seeing him walk in, and I remember him walking right by me. I thought about it every time I played at California school for letting me go to the cold. Yep. How long did it take you to drop that chip?
I don't know if it was like a chip. It was more so just like in that moment, as a teenager. Obviously, USC was like one of the biggest schools ever at that time. They was going crazy, and so I saw them recruiting everybody but me, and so I felt some type of way. But once I got into the league and got a chance to play for Coach Carroll, I kind of dropped it, as far as a chip. But I definitely remind him every chance I get.
That doesn't surprise me that you still would remind him of that.
Yeah, I definitely let him know for sure.
Yeah. Clint Hurt talked about your approach to practice, and he was kind of blown away at your humility taking the field, and the fact that you were acting more like a first or second year player than a 12-year vet. When you hear something like that, how does that make you feel? Like, where does that kind of leadership and that come from?
I think that just comes from experience. I'm grateful that somebody even notices something like that, but I think it just comes from experience. Like, I think I've been around for a long time, and I went away for a year and I came back, and for me to just assume that everything was the same the way I left it, that'd be insensitive of the moment and a lack of awareness. So I think I came in here understanding that there's new people here. Guys have grown into leadership roles that maybe hadn't before I left. And so being mindful of that, so placing myself in a position and trying to find spots to share my experience, but also continue to play at a high level.
Well, it's evident not only with the coaching, but with your teammates. I mean, almost everybody that goes to that microphone, someone always asks that person about Bobby Wagner, and they all have high praise for you.
I just my whole focus is to just give back. I think I've been blessed to be around great leaders like Sherm and Cam and KJ and Mike B and Cliff and all those guys, and everybody had a different style of leadership. And, I have my own style, but, at the same time, it's just how, like, we play this game for a long time, and, we have so much knowledge, and how many people can we touch and how much knowledge can we give before we leave the game has been important, and something I've seen as guys transition into their next life.
You talk about giving back. How difficult is it? Because I know a lot of what you do, you kind of like to just do it behind the scenes without being noticed. How difficult is it to do that with your personal interests, your family? Is it tough to keep everything private, or a lot of things private?
Not really.
No?
I mean, it's not hard because it's my life. It's like who I am, so it comes natural. The things that come out just naturally come out. I'm not shy about it. I don't, if it comes out and they say something, it's not like I'm gonna lie or say it hadn't happened. But I just do a good job of just separating my personal life from this life, because this life requires so much energy, so much time, so many different situations, so much stress, that when I walk out of the building, I want to be able to separate my time here, my stress here, with my family and everything else.
You've had some great causes in the past. Is there something new you're working on? Are you taking on a new challenge?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of things coming up, and so I can't really talk about them now, but they'll come out, and I think they'll hopefully they're impactful.
Okay, 2 more questions for you. You're a Spider-Man guy.
I like Spider-Man.
Of all the superheroes, why?
Of all the superheroes, I mean, I don't know if Ninja Turtles count, but
Okay, I know about Ninja
Turtles would be
Turtles.
my first. But Spider-Man, I like Miles Morales.
Okay.
That's my favorite now. I used to have the other ones, but I like the graphics in that, and I like the storyline, and he rocks J's, and I love Jordans.
Okay. One last question. You and I share the same birthday. Take me back to your birthday when you were a kid. Was there a toy, a gift, a bike, something that stood out where you just always loved it?
I think it was the first thing that popped in my mind was this big Ninja Turtle birthday cake, and it had all my characters on it. And the first piece of the cake was Raphael, so that's the first thing that popped in my mind.
Yeah, that's good. Well, thanks, Bobby. I appreciate your time, man.
Happy early birthday.
Wagner's return will be huge for the Seahawks defense, which ranked 25th overall last season. That didn't sit well with head coach Pete Carroll. He told us the influx of new talent has brought a few surprises.
Okay, Pete, let's start with some impressions of this team here out of the gate. Defensively, there's some new faces out there. Has anyone or anything jumped out at you?
Yeah, team speed is showing up. We're faster than we've been. We have added some guys that really give us some dimensions that we're excited about. Julian Love's a really good football player. He has all kinds of things that he offers in terms of leadership, smarts, and playmaking. Of course, Dre is going to be a big factor for us that we're really excited about. The guys on the edge are going to be as competitive as we've ever been. Derek Hall's already made an impression, and he's going to be part of that. Bobby coming back, I mean, what a great deal for us to get him back. I know all of our fans appreciate that, but know that we do too. Just his leadership and his savvy and awareness affects other people in a really positive way. Devin Bush is off to a good start with us. I'm anxious to see, you didn't ask for all these, but I'm giving you all of them.
Oh, I did ask you.
Mario Edwards, you know, is in his first couple of days has flashed and looked like he could be a factor too. So really, it's just exciting stuff. And, you know, and Spoon has looked pretty darn good out there too.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned all these guys, and it's all great here in the summer, but it's so key to be healthy and maintain their health. Is there anything you can do as a coaching staff to keep these guys upright?
Well, yeah, we're trying. We're the way we moderate, you know, the workload. And what we do know is that when guys get worn down, they get more susceptible to injury, and so we have to monitor that. So we extensively are monitoring that. We've got the pucks on them all the time. We know how fast they've run, how long they've run, the duration of their speed, and all kinds of things to try and measure and keep track of where they are. So monitoring the workload is really the first thing. And they've got to show up ready. That's important. They've got to be in the greatest shape of their life when they come back to us. So that's where it starts, and then we've got to monitor our way through it, and hopefully we make really good decisions along the way to take care of them.
How about offensively? Same question. Anything that jump out? Any person? I know Geno is just your rock there as a quarterback.
Yeah, Geno has just been fantastic. He's been the consummate leader coming back. He's got his sights set. His work habits have been great. He's in terrific shape. He's throwing the ball like crazy. He's so focused. He's so determined that it really affects everybody. He's in great shape. He's throwing the ball all over the place. He knows the system. He's in command. His confidence is as high as it's ever been, and his performance looks great. So it starts there on the offensive side. But he's got some weapons, you know. He's got his guys, and we're of course excited about our receivers. Whenever you get DK and Tyler out there, that's special. I really think Jackson's going to be a big factor. He really looks so natural and so comfortable in the roles that we want to play him in. Like there's no question that he can fit in, so that's great. Tight end's a good position for us. The young tackle's coming back with experience. You know, that's a great asset for us. We got a little battle of competition at center, which is going to be really fun to see. And then the running back position is lit up, you know, with all the guys we got. So we're trying to figure out how each guy, you know, can specialize and bring his role, his unique qualities to us, and then see if we can fit that all together. With Kenny just in great shape. Kenny had as good an off-season as you could have. He worked out with the receivers all year. He looks like he could play receiver for us as well as running back, and so he's really jacked up and in great shape and ready to go. So we just got to carry that through the 6 weeks, and we'll be ready to go.
How about the importance of having a 1-2 punch in the backfield in this NFL these days?
Always. You know, I mean, I've been feeling that's important for a long time, and we got more than that. We got a little 1-2-3 thing going here that we can look towards. I think Zach is going to be a real interesting factor, and I'm not sure how, you know, who's going to get the ball the most. We'll wait and see. Kenny's the lead guy coming in, and we'll see how guys develop as they attack that role opportunity. But Zach can do it all, and then so can K-Mac, man. McIntosh, he can really catch the football, and he was a terrific player in college. Meanwhile, the guy coming off his best season was DJ Dallas. He had a really productive year for us and is a great special teams player for us. So it's a really, really good group.
When the schedule first came out and you saw you were playing on Thanksgiving night, what's your reaction when you see something like that?
We like all that stuff. I never complain about the schedule because what are you going to do about it? It is what it is. And I really don't go the other way on it either. It's just we have some rhythms to the schedule that are interesting, though. I like playing at home in the opener. That's always nice. The back-to-back Thursdays is a real nice opportunity for us. I think we're going to max that out. If you're going to have 2 Thursday night games, it lessens the impact on the players because they'll get a full week in between the second game. Thanksgiving's fun, all that's good. We get some great matchups, great divisional opportunities, across the country. We got a lot of travel, teams traveling to us, which I like. But we'll take those big trips and we'll try to maximize those as well.
As fans, we look at the schedule. It comes out and it's like Christmas Day, because kids, people want to see when you're playing, what time of year, where, do you still have that excitement?
Yeah. I want to see what happens, and I felt that over the years, we've had a lot of tough schedules. We've had a lot of tough traveling challenges and all that. And so, I kind of come used with a mentality. I'm kind of used to that. And this year we're playing 2 10 o'clock games, that's the most challenging. That and Thursdays are the most challenging. So I kind of like the way it fell. I'm okay about it.
One last question for you. You're a guy who we've talked in the past. It's hard for you to shut it down. And when you finally do get that moment where you do shut it down, what do you do for that 5 minutes that you just stop?
No, I have to be good at it. There's spaces between the spaces, and I got to maximize those and find the time to get clear and quiet so I can be at my best. I got to perform for these guys as much as they do. And so it is important that I maximize the breaks and get a good deal out of it. I love fly fishing, I'm on the river whenever I can get there. I love going to the beach too, so we figure out a way to do both of those things in kind of regular, regular format and the rhythm of the season, the rhythm of the challenges, I'm okay with. I don't feel like I'm burdened or over challenged by that. I'm pretty grooved at it right now, and I look forward to it. I look forward to the hard times, and the back-to-back breakdowns in the game planning and stuff like that. And here comes that Thursday, and here comes that Monday night deal. All of those things are all highlights to me, and really the harder the better, and the more challenging the better. We have to play tough matchups. We have to play tough games and tough situations on the road, in the weather, whatever, if you're going to have a great season. You got to welcome those challenges. And so my mentality is that, I'm preparing for those and looking forward to doing something really good with every one of those chances. So don't worry about me. I'm okay.
I know. I just figured,
I appreciate the concern.
Beach and fly fishing. No surfing? Ever surf?
Oh, I'm boogie boarding, yeah.
Yeah, boogie boarding.
I'm down, yeah.
Still do it?
I'm a little flight board too. I get a little flight board action too. Yeah. You don't know what that is.
That's awesome, man. Young at heart. Thanks, Pete. I appreciate your time.
All right, Paul.
Pete is entering his 14th season as head coach of the Seahawks. He'll be 72 years old in September, continuing his reign as the oldest head coach in the NFL. And every time I sit down with him, I'm reminded by his motivation to be great and his overall energy. He isn't even close to talking about retirement. The Seahawks open the season at home September 10th against the Rams.